Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hoobie 186 back again with another video. This is technically Hoobie on the road, even though I'm not technically that far from my house. You see, I'm coming back from the buffet place, so getting some takeout before I head to work a little later. I wanted to talk about the Mayweather McGregor fight. Now, I did say I did have a video earlier in the probably like a month or so ago, talking about the aspects of this fight happening and why I felt the fight was a farce, and I still stand by that. The fight is a complete farce. It's an indictment on the what's it called, Nevada State Athletic Commission. This fight should never have happened in the first place. Yada 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 yada. We all know this, right? But to be fair, I'll talk about my setup in a second, because I didn't order the fight, and I didn't watch it the way I intended to watch it. But I did watch the fight, and to be frank, the fight was fun. It was a fun boxing fight. Now, I was a little bit shocked by how well Conor did. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought, by all accounts, it really should have been a slaughter. But at the end of the day, he did fight well. I think some of it may have been because Mayweather was kind of filling him out, and kind of allowing him to get some shots in or whatever. And Conor landed with a great uppercut in round one, and I thought was the more active fighter for the first 3 rounds. But ultimately, Mayweather kind of he picked him apart and kind of just finished him off at the end. I didn't have a problem with the stoppage. I know some people did. I saw Solid Red's video, which is such a funny video, by the way. But ultimately, I actually thought it was a good stoppage, because like, at the end of the day, man, he wasn't defending himself. He was just getting tattooed with shots after shots after shots, and at the end of the day, it was, there's really nothing more that can be said, man. Like, he wasn't defending himself. He was just getting hit. And I think the referee did the right thing in stopping the fight. Even though I understand Conor's gripe with wanting the fight to last, but at the end of the day, you were getting your ass kicked, so you weren't defending yourself, so you had, the stoppage was fine. Like I said, it was a great fight. The way I watched the fight, I pretty much watched it through Periscope. People were having streams of it and shit like that, so I wasn't able to watch the fight the way I intended it. I wanted to go out with friends and watch it, but with the situation going on at my job, really don't have any people. We're a bit of on a co-worker shortage right now, so I really couldn't get the day off. And plus, also, to be frank, I wasn't really interested in watching the fight anyway. But I was bored at work, so I decided, let me see if I can find a stream of it, and I was able to. For the first 3 rounds I watched, and I saw Conor was actually doing work, and then the stream cut off, and then I got back to it for round 6, and you can tell that the tide was already starting to turn in Mayweather's favor. But with that said, ultimately, like I said, it was a good fight. I thought Conor looked great Conor looked great in the fight. Like, he really represented mixed martial arts very well. Regarding Floyd, look, it's 50-0. That's the record. I know some people have kind of defended the idea of him fighting a novice for his 50th win. And to be honest with you, I was one of those people who kind of was trying to shit on him for picking the Mayweather fight. But at the end of the day, 50-0. Like, unlike, I hate to call him out on this, because I'm a fan, not as much as I was before. But Manny Pacquiao, during that time when everyone was clamoring for the Mayweather Pacquiao fight, in my opinion, Mayweather was fighting the more dangerous opponents at the time. Now, granted, it wasn't the guy we all wanted in Pacquiao, but he did have a fight with who did he have? Shane Mosley, who was a dangerous fighter. Who else? Who else did he fight? He fought Canelo. Granted, Canelo was younger back then, not as good as he is now. But he had the more competitive fights of the two. Like, Pacquiao had you know, he had the whole bullshit with Timothy Bradley and all that other stuff, and you know, but I didn't. Well, you know, like at the end of the day, you know, like you can't really take nothing away from Floyd, even though I'm not gonna give him credit for doing what he should have done in the first round. You know what I mean? Like he should have smoked McGregor. Now, granted, part of it was strategy. I think also part of it was, you know, I guess Conor kind of surprised him with some of his boxing skills. And listen, I was surprised by some of Conor's boxing skills. You know what I mean? Like, now, granted, I understand he's a striker, you know, from mixed martial arts, but you know, he looked like a natural boxer out there. Like, at least to me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you know, obviously, I'm not the biggest boxing fan, at least not anymore. So you know, but he looked like a natural boxer to me. But you know, like you said, you know, Mayweather kind of, you know, filling him out and whatnot, and the fight was over in the 10th. You know, like I said, I don't have a huge problem with the stoppage. You know, but overall, it was a fun fight. Definitely better than Mayweather Pacquiao. Definitely better. And to be frank, like, you know, like part of it's a two-way street. And to be frank, you know, like Pacquiao had as much to do with that fight being garbage as Mayweather did. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we got a good fight. You know, going in the future, I don't know. You know, obviously Mayweather said he's retired. You know, I think this is it for him. As far as as far as McGregor, you know, I think he did mention that he wanted to go back to UFC. But you know, when you make that boxing money, man, I don't know if I don't know if you can go back. This, in my opinion, I don't think you can go back. And you know, granted, you know, UFC, they need that dude, man, because I mean, obviously with Ronda Rousey quitting, pretty much being gone, John Jones on the verge of getting another suspension, and you know, the uncertainty of someone like GSP, they need someone like Conor McGregor. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. But you know, as for now, you know, like I said, it was a good fight. You know, it was nothing that, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I would probably say people got their money's worth for what they saw. They got their money's worth. Thankfully, I didn't spend none of that money. But you know, for those of you who did, you can't be disappointed. You got a really good fight out of it. So, anyways, this is Hoovy 186. I am out. More than likely, I will be doing a Hoovy on Deck episode 3 tomorrow. Nothing's guaranteed, but more than likely, I'll be doing a Hoovy live. So you know, obviously when I get off from work, depending on what time I sleep, I'll wake up and do the Hoovy live. You know, definitely got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to that. But anyways, this is Hoovy 186. I am out. Peace.